All right. What's up, guys? Good to see everybody. I'm going to share with y'all my morning. People fall off, so I'm going to go ahead and do some practice. I decided to go and share it live with y'all. Let me go ahead and all right, let's do it. All right, if you guys want to join in, you can. I'm going to use probably use a little bit of the pull-up bars and also the bags, maybe. I just have them in here, just use sometimes. All right, it's going to be a short practice. I want to share it with you guys what I usually do every morning. And so today's live. Good morning. Good to see y'all. You guys can follow along if you like. I'm just going to be showing you guys what I really be doing every morning. Get my energy flowing. So for you guys that aren't familiar with the practice, this is called Flow60. 60 moves, done in about 60 minutes. I'm going to give you guys more of a shorter version today. A lot of my practices is about maybe 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes. Good to have you guys join in. Good to see you, Benny. See you, Greg. 223. So I'm in Bali. I don't have windows in this room, so this is my office. This is my filming room where I teach my classes and stuff. I just recently brought in my pull-up bar and my punching bag. Because I spend a lot of time in here. Yes, long time no see, Mark. Good to see you, buddy. How's Bali? Bali is awesome. It's warm, it's rainy. All right. I'm gonna go into some up and down breathing. We're gonna look up, breathe in through the nose, look down, exhale through the mouth like this. Look down, exhale fully, and then rotate your neck around. So these moves are opening up different points in the body. Like right now, it's the neck. Looking to the left and right. Removing tension in the neck. Balancing the nervous system. Take a deep breath in and down. Charge on my hands. I'm going to go into some longevity. Since 2015, yeah. And honestly, I haven't really spent a lot of time on YouTube. Thank you, Greg. But I thought it's time. While you guys are here, you guys can share with me, because something I've been thinking about lately is starting to post more on YouTube and more of the longer content. I've been filming a lot of Instagram videos, Facebook videos, but I've already started doing some more longer videos. But what I'm curious from you guys that are here right now, what type of videos do you guys want to see? You guys like to see workout videos? You guys enjoy streaming? I personally don't, I usually don't stream because I'm always doing live calls in our classes. So when I make videos for social media, I'm usually not streaming, but I'm open to it. I decided just to do it today, to be honest with you guys, just so I don't have to edit anything. I don't have to send it off to the team and chop it up. So I'm just going to go live, connect with you guys, say hello, get my practice in at the same time. But tell me in the comments, what type of videos do y'all like to see? You like to see videos where I talk about topics on how to move energy, how to clear the mind, get rid of anxiety. You guys like to see videos on how to become more productive, things of becoming more present, showing up more in life. Is there any specific type of videos you guys like to see? Yeah, it's been a long time since being live. Multi-stream on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Oh, that's interesting. I've never even heard of Kick. Cool. All right. Good to know. All of the above. All right, cool. Greg, still enjoying the workout ones. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you, Greg. Okay, the workout ones. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Who has tried out any of these type of exercises that I'm doing? You maybe follow some of the videos I share on YouTube before. Moving the energy around first. Clearing the tension. Six-pack shortcuts were the days? Yes. Yes, agreed. Different days back in the day. Now it's like a fusion. I still do strength training, but not going super heavy like it did in the past. Teresa, good to see you. Your first stream? Well, this is my first stream in a long time too as well. Awesome. Okay. So now I just went through a really quick tap massage, moving some energy. So now my body's more relaxed. You can call it like a warm-up. However, this type of warm-up is a little bit different because most of the time people are just warming up to be able to do the lifts, do the exercises. But this warm-up is going into the joints, is going into the muscles. It's to get the nervous system to actually relax while open up mobility. So now I'm going to go through 12 exercises. First, I'm going to do one round, and then afterwards, I'm going to do another round, but I'm going to start incorporating maybe some dips, push-ups, pull-ups, things like that. So we'll start off first with push-ups. So I'm going to, usually I either do a timer or I feel it out and do anywhere from, maybe 15, 25, just depends. There's a way that I do strength training now that's different than before. The way that I do strength training is now focusing on being able to stay relaxed while at the same time tensing only what is needed in order to do the movements. So this principle, staying calm and relaxed, tensing only what is needed. This can be used in all kinds of training. The benefit, why would somebody want to do that? Well, when you're learning how to stay calm and relaxed, you're able to stay centered. Your energy expenditure is exactly the output that is needed. nothing more. So what that means is if you're, let's say, doing a really heavy lift, you're deadlifting 300 pounds, for example, then you're going to have to tense up more muscles or more tension than if you were to just pick up 50 pounds off the ground. But imagine if you tensed up your body more than what you needed, then that would be like a car that's burning a lot more gasoline than what is needed in order to move from point A to point B. It's not very efficient. So we want to become fuel efficient or energy efficient. So there's nothing wrong with tensing up the body when it's needed. But when it's not needed, don't tense it up. What's the point? You guys know what I'm saying? If we want to be efficient with our energy, we want to be efficient with our time, we only want to tense what is needed. If we got to tense up, tense up. But if you don't. This type of principle is applied to all training and all things in life. And that's one of the biggest things that I learned from back in the day with fitness training and now this type of training, which is fusing what I learned back in the days along with a new philosophy. Similar movements, but the way to do the movements have evolved. Example of that, doing what is needed. If I don't need to tense up a lot, because I'm just doing body weight squats, then don't. If I have some weights in my hand, then I have to tense up more, naturally. So what happens is that sometimes people will tense up everything, and they'll do extra tension that isn't needed. And then later on, when they stand and hang out, they'll tense up everything. And so therefore, they're always exhausting their energy, and they're always staying very stressed. Because every time when you tense up, your body is feeling pressure. You see? Your body is feeling stressed, but there's no real stress. It's just the fact that people's bodies are so used to being tense when it's not needed to be tense. So therefore, our mind always feels like there's something wrong happening on the outside. So this type of training conditions our body, teaches our body to learn how to relax, learn how to let go and tense only what is needed. So Kivo, you asked, how's Mama Chang? She's doing good. She's doing good. Thanks for asking. Share this link on Discord. All right. Awesome. Jesse, you asked, did you ever injure your shoulder on heavy bench press? Oh, yeah. Too many times. One of the most common things. How did you get it to heal? I'm still having nagging pain for over a year. Well, there's a lot of things on that one. There's how to heal this currently, and then there's how to prevent yourself from injuring again in the future. Doesn't have to do with form. So how to heal it currently now? Well, you're gonna have to stop doing heavy bench press. If you do, it's not gonna heal. You're gonna have to massage the heck out of it. So this way you can break up all the scar tissues, all the things that are accumulated. you probably have a limited range of motion in your shoulders or not a real flexible range. So you're going to want to stretch out your shoulders. Stretch it out, open it up, make sure you get that full range so that you break up any blockages in there. Okay. Now, the next thing is how to prevent it, how to prevent it from happening in the future. Oh, another thing about recovery. Not only do you need to let it heal, which means you stop doing bench press and you work on other angles. You can go with dumbbells. Go put your shoulders in a slightly different position. Flies, machines, incline. Maybe incline, well, depends. Maybe incline will feel okay, but you can't go super heavy. Or dips, weighted dips, etc. Do a different angle to work on your chest. So this way you don't target that part of the body, that part of your shoulders that hurt. Okay. I've had this happen too many times. And that's actually how I started to do other exercises, because I had to work around all these different injuries. And eventually you start to hit different heads or different parts of the muscles. Like when I couldn't bench press or do military presses. I couldn't military press for a year back in the day. So then what happened is I learned how to do flies, side laterals. I learned how to do front laterals. And I figured out all these different variations. And then by the time I can military press again, because my shoulder finally healed, I also develop other parts of the body as well. So, and the next thing about recovery is making sure you get not just the right amount of sleep. Make sure that you are relaxed when you're sleeping. So I just did one round. I'm all warmed up. I'm going to do another round. I'm just going to select a few exercises, rotate them back and forth. I'm going to start off with some dips. So you need to relax while you sleep. Most of the time people sleep, their body's tense, their mind is still thinking about stuff. So your recovery is not very efficient. Because anytime when your body's tense, your nervous system is not relaxed. Your sympathetic nervous system is still activated, and your parasympathetic is not turned on, which is responsible for resting, recovery, digestion. So what happens is you might be unconscious and asleep, but your body's really not recovering. Not until that nervous system switches. So then you want to make sure that you switch it, or in other words, get calm and relax before you go to bed. So that's why I always talk about doing an evening practice. Right before you go to sleep, you're doing a practice. And by the time you go to bed, there's a way to do it where you stretch, breathe, and meditate. So when you fall asleep, your body's in this perfect state of relaxation and your mind is completely still. Then your body is optimized for recovery, which is what you need for your shoulders. So for anybody who's dealing with anything where your body needs to recover, whether it's sickness, whether it's injuries, soreness, same thing. Make sure that you're sleeping in the most relaxed state. If you don't, well, your body's not going to recover very well. And then someday, if you're training and you're not recovering, then injuries are bound to happen. Okay, that's an inevitable thing. So a lot of people don't recover well, and they think recovery is just getting more sleep. But it's not about that. It's not very efficient. Because if you sleep for 8 hours, but it takes you 3, 4 hours or 5 hours for your body to relax, you're not really getting good recovery time. And a lot of times, people may not even be in a deep relaxation through sleep at all. They wake up, their mind is still thinking about stuff that happened yesterday, and their body is feeling very unrested. If any of you guys ever experienced that, well, you didn't let everything go before you went to bed. So you literally programmed all the stuff in your body and in your mind while you were sleeping. And it's the perfect way to program stuff into you. So then if we're wondering why every day is repeating the same as before, it's because every night, instead of wiping the slate clean, we are programming everything into the mind and body. The body starts to get used to this feeling of worry, stress, anxiety, even though there's nothing to worry about. And the mind is constantly focused on problems and things are going to be tough or whatever issue. And we can't seem to focus on solutions. We can't seem to have a different perspective because we're not clearing it at night. So the next morning, it's the same program running in the mind and body as the day before. That makes sense. Mark said, Mike, do streams as Hermosi does now. Look it up. Cool, Mark. I'm going to look it up and find out. Jonathan, where am I from? Born in Taiwan, raised in Houston, Texas, living in Bali now. All right, let me see what else you guys chatting about here. Jesse said truck driving has been in a stuck position for long periods of time. Yeah. If you're truck driving, that means your sleep schedule is a little off, right? But even if you did that, for anybody who's got jobs where it's really weird on the sleep schedule, you're working all night shifts, or truck driving, right? That to the extreme. Apply the same principle. You may not be able to change your job at the moment, but you can still stretch, breathe, and meditate before you go to sleep, even if you're in a truck. I was training. I lived out of a van for a year and a half. After I left Six Pack Shortcuts, I sold my house, sold everything, and just traveled on the road. And I mean, I was doing a practice in a small little box. So whatever it takes to be able to do that, you can still relax. You're just not working with a big space, but it doesn't matter. You can still do it. Riddell says, man, that's not a dip. Well, there are many ways to do a dip. And personally, I'm not here to show you guys how to exercise at the moment. I'm just getting a workout and having a conversation with y'all. So all good. But thank you for sharing anyways. All right. Cool. Let me see. Living the life. Yeah. But all good. There's a lot of stuff. People talk a lot about form, And yeah, there are ways to do form that can optimize more muscles or can put stress in different areas. But the thing about form is that it's all structure. And the way we move is not in structure. The way we engage in life is not in linear lines. This way, don't. We move in a flow. Everything is fluid. So when we train, if we want to train so that we can live better, we want to train a more fluid way. Now, that being said, if somebody wanted to evolve their workout positions, they want to increase to work on this part of the body more, or increase the range of motion more, things like that. Yeah, there are many different ways to modify or to progress. Very true. But the idea of this is right and this is wrong doesn't exist. There is no right and wrong. Just like somebody saying, this is the wrong way to live and this is the right way to live. Everybody's different, man. Everybody's different. So you can't say that somebody should live this way only, because everybody's unique. Everybody's got their own life, their own way of wanting to do things. And that's the freedom of life. Everybody gets to do what the heck they want to do. Unless they don't understand this concept and they think that life should be this way, and therefore they're living in this box. And then even if that person was to be able to create that box in their life, follow all the rules, at the end of the day, they're not going to be happy because they're in a box. They're going to feel this stuckness on the inside, like they're not free. Like, I want to say this, but I can't say this. I want to act like this way, but I can't act like this way because it's not allowed. It's not right. It's not socially acceptable. BS. You know, it's just these social norms that we may have learned back in the day. And suddenly it controls the way we live, controls the way we train, and controls what we do. So we're not free. And isn't freedom the ultimate state for us? People talk about happiness, but you can't be happy unless you're free. Freedom means you're able to do what you want to do. That's all. There's no right and wrong. It's just what you want to do, whatever that is. And if you can do that, people are happy. People just aren't happy because they want to do something and they can't. They don't allow themselves to do it. One part of them says, go for it. The other part says, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that. And all this doubt and all of this inner resistance creates a lot of problems. So people don't feel free. They don't feel like they are in their power because there's always this inner battle happening. So imagine if you can let that go. So the training that I teach now and what I do, like, looks like I'm doing just regular stuff. And yes, movements are very similar. But there is a philosophy that I learned over the last 10 years of leaving YouTube and leaving the six-pack world. And now, as I'm coming back to teach fitness and teach training and all that again, a new way of training. Different philosophy, using the same moves, dips and pull-ups and push-ups and squats, same stuff. If I was working with weights, same thing, but the way that we do it is different. The philosophy and approach of it is different. The muscles, you can still build a muscle. If I want to build bigger muscles, I know what to do. But the way that we live, the way that we see ourselves, the ability for us to do the things that we want in life, that changes. And if you guys know that line, the way we do one thing is the way we do all things. So if we train in a certain way, following a certain type of box, then we also live life in that way, and vice versa. There are people that have this really freedom and flow way of doing it, a certain philosophy of that, and that they take it in the same way with their business, with their relationship. And that's what's really about, ultimately, for us to be able to be free to do what we want. That's the biggest thing. If there's one takeaway about these things that I'm talking about, it's to be able to accomplish that. Experiencing lagging. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for letting me know. That's why I'm testing it out today. So this way, I can see if streaming would make sense in the future. We bring it to here. Get a little bit of cardio in. No lagging on your end, Mark? Good. Cool. Good to know. I punch for cardio, not so much because I'm trying to train how to fight. That's very different. I look at punching like jogging, except for the upper body. Yeah, bricks don't hit back. Because you know, when you're jogging, it's a great exercise. Great exercise for the whole body. Very functional. But punching is really functional, but for the upper body. And it challenges us, challenges our endurance, cardiovascular. It's the ability to be able to reach. It's the ability to pull back, to extend. So, and then you add that in with some kicks, and we have a nice full body movement. Because kicks isn't just about the kick. Kick is balance, balancing on a leg. Kick is core. Kick is lower back mobility. Kick is flexibility in the legs. It's opening up the hips. People do hip opening exercises, but you can also kick. I used to kick a lot when I was younger. But as I got older, I only kicked a little bit. And then I started incorporating it back into my training routines. Same thing with strikes. All right. Let's see. See what you guys are chatting about here. Always been active? Yes. Yes, sir, Mr. Patrick. Doing my best to stay active. Sometimes with work, I got a sprained toe on my left foot, so I got to be careful on my front kicks. It's more just hitting with the heel. Stamina and balance, Greg. Yeah. That's the thing. I want to be able to keep going and not be tired. It's great to lift a lot of weight, but also feels great to lift a lot of weight continuously without stopping, you know? That also feels great. And for me personally, I like to have a balance, you know, a balance between the two. Can't do that one really well. And I usually don't do this one with a bag. Feels all right. See, that's my first time ever actually kicking that way on a bag. See, I usually just do it in the air like this, but that's different when there's no impact. With the impact, feels different. I'm not even sure which side of my feet to land on for this, but I don't care. You see, here, that's a live example. If I was a person that operated on correct form and needs to be done perfectly or the correct way, if not, I'm not going to do it. Well, then I'm going to go, you know what? I'm not going to kick that way. I'm not going to do this because I'm not sure if it's the correct way. But what happened if this way was wrong? Quote, right? Somebody jumps on the stream and go, hey, brother, you're not doing it right. The way you should do it is this, right? What would happen? Cool. If I want to switch it, then I can switch it. But imagine if I did this for 6 months, right? All the time I do it this way, not realizing that it was, quote, wrong. And then I realized that the way you're supposed to do it is instead of hitting it with your inside the foot, You're supposed to hit it with the bottom of your foot like that, for example, or you're supposed to stick the heel out. It's such a small change. It's like a 15% change. Everything else remains the same. So I still get the benefits of opening my hips up that way. You see, so if we don't do something to the best that it could be, it doesn't matter. Look at life, look at business. Look at all the people who started, who messed up, who failed, and kept getting back up and doing it again. They all understand this concept. Forget perfection. Forget about doing it right. Just do it. Keep your eyes on the goal and don't stop. And over time, you will figure out how to do it better. But don't stop just because you don't know the best way to do it. Who cares? Just do it. Get out of your head about how it looks like, what people think. Just do the best you can and just know that that's enough. That philosophy can be put into training. It can be put into business. It can be put into relationships. All the guys and girls out there who got some bad relationships before in the past and don't want to date anymore. They don't want to have a long-term real relationship because they're scared of getting hurt. Same thing. Then it ends up hurting their life. Let it go. Who cares about the perfection? Just do it. And the more you do it, the more you learn. And the more you learn, well, the better you get at it. Such a simple concept, right? But it's just about taking action on it. Used in capoeira. Yeah, Kevin. Good. Many other martial arts. Yeah, that's right. And I've done a couple, maybe like 1 or 2 capoeira classes ever in my entire life. But if I was to do it, I've already got some foundations, you see? And that's the thing about this training is when you got the endurance, you got the strength, you got the mobility, and you're doing some of these functional movements every day, kicking, punching, jumping, any other sport or activity you want to get into, you already have a baseline athleticism. And that's my personal goal, to be able to maintain that baseline athleticism. It's good for health, it's good for the mind. If I want to get into some specific sport, I can. It's all good. If I don't feel like it, no problem. I still stay in shape. All right. Let's get this out of the way. Whew. I don't know if you guys caught that, but something just flew out of my nose. I'm going to clean that up right here. That's another thing I learned. Here's another advice. When you guys are training and something's wanting to come out of your mouth, coming out of your nose, don't swallow it. Get it out. If it gets on the ground, wipe it up. Use a tissue, spit it out. Get it out. Don't leave that stuff inside. That mucus, that stuff, whatever is coming out. If it stays inside, it's going to block up your system, clog up your bloodline, clog up your arteries, clog up your meridians, your energy, clog up the pathway. Your body is like a pipe system on the inside. A gazillion amount of pipes always running around everywhere. It's got to transport everything, blood and oxygen and nutrients and hormones and toxins and everything. Waste. So we got to make sure it's open. So when things are trying to come out of the body, it's because it needs to come out. So the last thing we're going to do is swallow it in there thinking, no, I don't want to somebody see me blow my nose. You see, that's people who are afraid, who's so afraid of everybody's judgments that they don't do the most natural, common sense thing. You see, that's how people are living so much. And then they're wondering why they're not strong, why they're not healthy, why they're not feeling good, why they aren't going after the things in life. Because the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. And if you can't blow out your nose because you're afraid of looking weird, then you can't go after what you really want because you're afraid of how people will look at you if you fail, or how people will look at you when you're trying to show up, you see. Same exact way. So we got to practice letting all that stuff go. And when we do, our practice evolves, our training evolves, our business evolves, our work, our careers, everything evolves. So it's not just like a one little thing. It's not just about training. It's about the way we live life, the way we do things. We got to be free. Can't be trapped with other people's judgments and limitations. We have to be liberated. So this way we can do what we want. Love play, 83. Oh, amazing, man. You were 250 pounds, now 150. Amazing, brother. Good, happy to hear that. Good, good. Reading some of what you guys are writing there as I'm stretching. Do you add cycling to your workouts? Sometimes. I can only pick because I'm so busy between the kids and business and my mom and my wife, and I've only got a certain amount of time. So cycling is nice. I have a bike. Once in a while I go riding, but it is not consistent, to be honest. Not because something's wrong with cycling. It's just that I got to pick. I only get to pick a few things. I end up doing some jogging, not anything long. I just walk, I get outside, I run down the road and back because it's much faster. I can get more of a workout in a shorter amount of time because cycling, I have to cycle for longer to get the same amount of intensity. And plus, I'm training my feet, training my bottom of my feet to be tougher, to be able to withstand all terrains. That's my goal. I'm doing an experiment. So I've been completely barefoot for over 5 months. So that's why I don't cycle. Instead, I just run. Let's see. I'm that dude that blows his nose in his restaurant. Cool, Kevin. Awesome. When I'm cycling, it really opens up my sinuses and I have to blow up my nose a lot. Great. Good, good. Yep. Perfect. Snots equal flow. Yes, actually, it does. It really does. If the things are coming out, let it come out. If it doesn't come out, okay, all good. But then we can do things to let it come out. Like people that, if they don't move their body enough, things don't come out because they're not moving their body. It's like you have a dirty towel. It has gunk in it, has dirt, it has all this stuff inside. But you don't dust it around. You don't flap it around. You don't move that towel. So it seems like the towel is fine. It just sits there in a clump. Yeah, it's just like people's bodies. The moment they start to move, they start to stretch, you start to use your cardio system, and suddenly they start coughing. You know, have you ever seen that? Somebody who's not doing cardio much and start to breathe heavily, suddenly they start coughing because the body's trying to cough up the stuff. They're trying to clear the lungs. There's all this stuff inside, and the body's trying to get rid of it. So then they cough. And then when they cough, they need to spit out the stuff that is caught up inside. The body's naturally trying to clear it. And that's the thing. If people knew this, why are they seeing the doctor? You know, speaking of coughing, something needs to come out now. There you go. That was a good one. Good. See, if people knew this, doctors would go out of business. The medical industry would go out of business. Seriously, they would. Because nobody's spending money on pills and procedures and appointments. They just start doing the most natural things, the things that they known that they needed to do all their life. Problems go away. Hormones get balanced out. All the organs come back online. Their nervous system regulates and relaxes. Their mind becomes clear. They don't have any pressure anymore. All the chronic pains start to go away because their body's resting, actually relaxing at night, allowing their bodies to heal. They get outside and get sun, get grounded into the earth, get fresh air instead of being in a box 24/7, not in front of screens 24/7. suddenly all the symptoms go away. And people knew that, the medical industry would collapse. It would. And it should. And it will. It has to evolve. If not, it will collapse. But that's why biohacking is starting to become more popular. It's starting to become, there's like a lot of people nowadays that looks at that as like the new way of healing, the new way of increasing one's health. They don't look at the regular traditional way anymore. So there'll always be a demand for health, but the current system will collapse, and it needs to. So this way, a new system, a new way of increasing our health and fixing our bodies when we have problems, when we have diseases, it would occur. So every time after you guys do strength training, always stretch. And usually when I'm doing the practice by myself, I'm not talking obviously, but I'm a lot more still, a lot more centered. Because this is the time for us to, number one, release the tension that we just accumulated in the body. Number two, starting to relax the body and get rid of any adrenaline that you may have created when you're doing all the strength training. And number three, start to connect to the body on a deeper level. Connecting to the body basically means feeling the body deeper. You know, like when you're exercising, you feel your muscles, you know, you feel the burn, you feel the body being stimulated. But there are deeper sensations inside the body. And you want to connect to those. You want to connect to those deeper sensations. It increases your body-mind connection. It allows you to connect to your actual energy. And it helps you release anything that is stuck emotions, stuck energy. And then after the stretching, we go into a short breath work, short breathing. The reason why breathing exercises are powerful and important because it regulates the nervous system directly. It brings in a lot of oxygen, a lot of energy into the body, and it can access and clear blockages in the body that the other moves couldn't. Another reason why you want to stretch after every exercise is because you want to be able to bend your body. You want to bend your body in ways that you didn't bend it currently in your workout. And the reason why you want to bend your body, well, simple, mobility. If you don't bend your body in the way that you would like to move, you won't be able to do that movement anymore. It's inevitable. So if you go, I don't care to ever do this movement in my life, stop doing it. And you will lose the capability to do this. But if you go, I want to move this way and that way, well, then you've got to do those stretches or those movements every single day, as often as possible. And you'll always be able to maintain it. And then old age won't be a thing because your body's constantly adapting. So because we're on the live, I'm going to do a very short breathing and a very short meditation, maybe like a minute or two at the most. And afterwards, I'm gonna jump back, look at some of the stuff you guys are typing in. If you guys want me to answer your questions, type in the questions now, and I'll be able to answer maybe a couple of them after the meditation. And then afterwards, we're gonna wrap it up here. So I'm gonna do about 20 breaths here, in and out of the mouth. I'm gonna do a exhale hold where I breathe out all of the air and hold my breath. And then afterwards, I'm going to sit up and I'm going to go into a seated meditation for roughly 60 to just 90 seconds. And then we're going to come back. So for you guys who want to ask some questions, type it in now. So when I open my eyes, I'll look, I'll answer some questions. For you guys that are jumping off, good to see you guys. Maybe I'll see y'all next time. All right, let's begin. All right. All right, guys. Let me take a look, see what you guys wrote. All right, so Kevo, I'm gonna rapid fire on these so this way I can see if I can get to them. We've got maybe I'll spend about 5 more minutes here, but not too long. Gotta run. Let's see, Kevo, can you offer any encouragement to get back into flow training? Do 5 minutes a day. Pick maybe 5, 7 movements, the ones that feel easy. Hops is a good one. Drop down arms, heart openers, full twist, low twist, mid twist, and high twist. Okay. Those are the ones you can do that every single day. It'll take a few minutes. And then as you do that, you'll have more energy, you'll have more motivation, and then you can maybe do another one if you like. And the next one would be to go into lower body tap. Tap everywhere in the lower body, go all the way up to the upper body, head, face, done. This way you can start to stimulate the energy and you start to get into flow. And then eventually you can start adding more in. But in the beginning, it's all about just doing very short practices so you can be consistent on it. And you can do them more than once a day. I always talk about I'm doing practices and movements throughout the entire day. That's how I stay active. That's how I keep the energy flowing. All right. Horse. Am I Bolo Yun's son? Yes, I am. Yeah, he's my dad. We grew up to... Just kidding, man. No. Bolo Yun. All right. Been dealing with... Kevo, been dealing with back sciatica, and it discourages me a lot from physical activity. It discourages you a lot because you don't want to suck at it. That's why. Because when you do physical activity, it hurts. And you can barely do anything, and it hurts. But this is what I tell my mom. Pain is going to be in your path. It's inevitable. That's going to happen. So if you think you can avoid pain, you're not. Because if you don't do anything, you're going to be in more pain. The next pain is going to be more sickness pain. Okay. Or you can be in pain and exercise. You can be in pain and stretch and do the movements. You'll still be in pain. Both paths in your life is pain. Which one do you choose? One path in pain is going to help you improve, strengthen your body, but it's going to be painful along that way. The other one is pain, but it's going downwards. And the more down you go, the more pain you have. Both paths are pain. Okay. Think about it like that, because you're not going to be able to avoid pain. Okay. Pick the path. All right. Okay. Pedicures? Nah. I really don't care about looking good in my feet. I don't care. You know, I don't care. I'm not a foot model. Unless somebody want to pay me to be a foot model, then maybe. Then I might get a pedicure. All right, let's see. I used to do random weird feelings in my abdominal. I do flow and it gets better now. Good. All right. Good to hear that. Cycling is a great way. Yep. Kevo. Pivotal figure in my life. And I found your flow training. Awesome. Yeah, COVID times, man. Glad you started doing those practices. And no carb is the key way. No carb is the very key. It does help. Yeah. You don't need to do low carb all the time, but low carb is really good for reducing fat, for getting rid of inflammation. Most of the time, our inflammation is coming from sugars, coming from flour, coming from all the junk. You know, there's so much processed stuff, and most of the processed stuff have a lot of carbs in it. So when you go low carb or cutting out the carbs, you end up clearing a lot of the foods that aren't good for you anyways. That was the way that I was getting ripped back in the day. Cut out all the carbs, increase my fats, do one carb meal every 2 days or so. I'd call it carb loading. And clean carbs, not like pizza or something or fries. And I was able to stay very lean year round. Okay, Teresa, good. Come on, thank you. The progress is slow. Okay, appreciate you. Playman you. Awesome. Yeah, progress might be slow, but in reality, progress is faster than what you think. Here's something, guys, about progress. Okay, progress is always happening, but most people don't see the small changes in their body, in their mind, or in the way they feel. And because they don't see it, then they believe that it's not happening. And so they go, man, progress is really slow, or there's no progress. The reality is there's always progress, because there's the law of the universe, karma, cause and effect. That's the law of the universe. Everything in the universe works in that way. There's always an effect coming from a causation. So if you think something, there's a cause, there's an effect from that thought. Okay, and that thought was the effect from another thought or another action or a circumstance. You do an exercise, doesn't matter what you do, there is an effect from it. But the effects sometimes are so small that you can't see it. But just know that there's always an effect, because the whole entire universe works in that way. So if you're doing practices, you're stretching, you're breathing, you're meditating, you're doing as much as you can to your capacity, to your time capacity, but you're not seeing the progress, just remember that. The progress is there, okay? I had this happen many, many years ago when I first started meditating, over 10 years ago. I started meditating, and I was meditating 3 times a week for about 5 minutes every time. Progress? I didn't see any. This was back in the 6-pack shortcut days, okay? I didn't see any. But it was just part of the routine, so I did it. And then one day, I was on a plane and I was heading to Utah for an event. And I remember sitting in the plane and not doing my normal fidgeting, sitting there trying to find a comfortable thing, listen to radio, not listen to it, just constantly trying to find a comfortable thing, a comfortable position in those small plane seats. That's what I usually did. But that day, when I was sitting in the plane, I remember just sitting there and just feeling fine. And I sat there, and after a couple minutes of sitting there doing nothing and feeling okay, I went, wait, something is different. I've never been able to do this. I've never been able to just sit there and relax, just be okay with just sitting. I'm always leaning, crossing, trying to find some way because I'm always feeling so uncomfortable. How am I feeling so comfortable just sitting here? And I started going through my mind and seeing what have I done that was different. And the only thing that I could contribute to was meditation. So that was the first time that I realized that meditation was actually doing something. You know how long I was meditating before that? All right, almost about a year. But I just stuck to it because my girlfriend at the time was a yoga teacher. And so meditation was part of doing yoga. So don't be discouraged, okay? There's always an effect in everything you do. Okay, it's just sometimes it may take you some time to realize the effect, but it's always there. Acupuncture is great, yes. Opens up energetic meridians, clears blockages, hips, brain, shoulders, organs, everything. All problems in the body come from blockages. Okay, something is blocked. If everything is open, the body will heal itself. If something is clogged, well, it can't heal because energy can't get to that place. Blood can't get to that place. Nutrients can't get to that place. Organs aren't able to function properly. Things aren't able to communicate with each other. Blockages, that's the primary and number one thing. If a body is open, all sicknesses will heal, all problems will go away. Okay, because the body's very, very efficient. We just need things to be open. If you don't move enough, your body gets clogged. If you eat the wrong foods or you eat too much foods, the body gets clogged. If you don't get enough sleep, the body gets clogged because you're constantly using your body every single day, but your body is not healing. It's not resting. So it's just constantly breaking down without the rebuilding part. Unblock everything in the body. Okay, and all issues go away. That's the primary 30,000 feet overview of how health works for us. If you look at all the practices, all the different holistic ways, all of the Eastern practices that knew about the body and mind much more than the American Western culture. If you look at that, everything is about opening up the flow of energy, the flow of nutrients, the flow of blood. Everything is about opening up circulation. Yeah, everything in their practices. And when I realized that, man, it was a game changer. Okay. Lady Bird, I stand in bed for 24 hours since I know I've been missing sleep due to changing my life and health problems. I stayed in bed for 24 hours. Yeah. Got to get up. You got to get up, walk around. Yeah. You stay in bed, you're going to just continue more health problems. Can't do that. Okay, can't do that. Just find a reason. Find a reason to get out of bed, get into some sun, sweat. Okay. Get into some sun and sweat. Get your heart flowing a little bit. Okay. If you can't get out of bed, if you're injured or something happens, for example, then you can tap on your body. Lay down, tap on your body every 15 minutes. Tap on everything. Okay. At least you're able to get some circulation there. But never just lay in bed or do nothing. That's the fastest way to stay sick or get sick. If the body is open, does the mind follow? Yes, absolutely. There's no difference between the mind and body. Okay, the mind and body are one. The way they are one is because the energy circulating inside the body is the mind. There's no difference. The energy that's inside, right? You have energy inside. Your mind is an expression of that energy. Therefore, it's one of the same. So you change the body, then you change the energy inside the body because the body is the energetic container for the energy. So if your body becomes sick, your energy automatically changes. Or vice versa. If your body becomes strong or cleansed, clean, healthy, the energy automatically changes. And when the energy changes, the mind automatically changes because the mind is the energy inside. There's no difference. Okay. There's no difference. It's the same thing. So this is why when the energy changes, our perspective changes. Everybody always has a positive way of looking at something and a negative way of looking at something without learning anything new. Just I can look at the situation in one way, or I can look at the situation another. But what determines the way that a person looks at a situation is based on the way they feel or based on their energy. So if I am feeling good, if I'm feeling strong, if I'm healthy, I'm going to look at situations in a more positive light. I'm going to be more confident about what I can do, and vice versa. If my body is sick, if I'm feeling tight, I have pressure, then the energy is lower in my body, and my mind, I'm going to look at all situations with a different perspective. I'm going to be less inclined to take risks. I'm going to look at the things that are wrong versus looking at the things that are right. This is a change in our perspective, but perspective is determined by the energy. You see, the energy in our body determines the level of consciousness, and the level of consciousness determines the way we think, the way we act, the way we feel. They're one of the same. Okay, so that's why you need to get the body to be healthy. You got to get the things to flow. And then by doing so, without learning anything new, okay, this is the key. It's not like you have to go and suddenly, now I'm going to study and learn all this stuff. No. Without learning anything new, if you change your body and you change your energy, your mind changes. Automatically. Okay, automatically. It's hard for someone to imagine this, but you know why I say this with this level of confidence? Because it happened to me 10 years ago. That's why. It literally happened to me, and when my mind changed, I was like, holy crap. I didn't learn anything, okay? It took 6 hours and it changed. And suddenly I'm understanding everything differently. And then it took many years to reverse engineer it and find out how did I do it and how does it work and how does all this stuff work and how did that happen? How was that possible? And then once I understood it, then it was like, how many people do not know this? And the answer is most people don't know this. But this was 10 years ago. Fast forward 10 years now, people are starting to learn. Okay, some people are more advanced or more knowledgeable than others. Okay, but this is another fundamental truths. There's a lot of fundamental truths about how our body, mind, and emotion works, how we operate as a human being. How does reality work? How does destiny and open possibilities? There's all these little fundamental things. And in order to understand one thing, I had to learn another thing. And over time, you get this really vast understanding of life, of ourselves. And that allows us to be able to live more free. Because all of the constraints that we had before in our life, this is how it is, this is how it is, to kind of put us in this box. When we realize that's not the case anymore, we become free. Possibilities open up. We start to realize I can actually do the things that I wanted to do. I don't have to follow these rules. This is not the way things actually are. So, guys, it's been great chatting with y'all. If you guys enjoy this type of stuff, I got a program coming up January 3rd. Okay, look into it. 60-day body-mind transformation program. Okay, lives like this every single week. Okay, except it's on Zoom. So this way we can see each other, we can discuss, we have lots of conversations, we do group sessions, you're working with my instructors, you're working with myself every week. All this stuff. It's only for people who are really serious, people who are interested in leadership, in being more present, in having more energy, and leveling up in their life, not somebody who's needing a cheerleader, not somebody who's, I don't know if I want to do this, can you convince me to exercise? No, I'm not convincing you to exercise. Okay, it's a person who really is driven to succeed. You got to have clear goals. If that's you, come join in. Okay, but there is an interview process, to be honest, because we don't want everybody to join in, because there are people that join in. Doesn't matter if you got money to pay. We don't want people to join in and not show up because it ruins the rest of the class. Okay, so small groups, but it's really intimate. And if that's you, then you can go to the website. Okay, let me see if I can put it in here. It's flow60.com/BMT. I'm gonna see if I can drop it in here right now. So I don't know if that version works. Let me see if I can drop in a HTTP. So this is try one or maybe the second one. Okay. So also this program is not just about exercise. You're going to be exercising every day. You're going to be doing practice every day, meditating every day, breath work, and all this stuff. But there's heavily focused on mind, on emotions, opening up the energy, understanding all these things that I'm talking about, how it all works. Okay. And a lot of integration into everyday life. So it's very immersive. It's not like you just watch some videos and just kind of do things by yourself. It's actually the entire opposite. You're always working with instructors. You're working with myself. You're working with other students. So it's very, very immersive. Okay. So that's why there's the interview process, because we don't want everybody to join, because not everybody's committed at that level. Okay. So January 3rd, we got about 13 more days of this cohort. Everybody starts at the same time, ends at the same time. Okay. But it's not cheap. Okay. It's not like a couple $100. All right. So you got to be financially okay. If you're struggling to pay rent, not the program for you. Okay. We have other programs. There's like the 30-day flow challenge. It's really great. You know, it's like $19, you know, everybody should get that. It's awesome. 30 videos, super simple. You just watch a video a day and just do the practice, you know, so we got other stuff. That's great. But this one, the BMT program, okay, it's for people who are really committed and who really like the support, the accountability, and they want to go deep, because this type of stuff that we talk about, it can get confusing. Okay. People that see therapists or people that are working with coaches, and now everything is merged together. You have the physical aspect, you have the coaching aspect, all connected together. You have the somatic practices, and then you understand how they support each other. So it's not just body, it's not just mind. Okay, everything integrated. Okay, so that's it, guys. Check that program out if it's right for you. And thank you all for joining in. I don't know when I'll be come back and doing more lives. I kind of like this flow, but I'm just testing out right now, and you guys are the first ones to experience it. So thank you, everybody. Okay, thank you so much. Greg, thank you so much. Appreciate you, brother. And when am I going to go live again? Not sure yet. Okay, I might do it soon. I'm going to feel it out. Okay, I'm going to fill it out and see. This today was more like a test. Just jumped on, just to see, just to experience it, and then go with the flow. So keep on the lookout. All right. See you later, guys. Thank you.